host, your friend, your boy, Jet Black the One Only, here with
Mr. Hand.
And today we're talking about post-episode 11 theories for Jank Heroes.
You mean
Funnifyic.
not theories, because theories are terrible, and I actually only had a few questions.
I would love to hear your questions that you currently have about the series. We can theorize.
Well, it's more about, no, Jet theories are bad. It's more just about things that relate to Dark Gale.
Oh, it's ask away.
Okay, so, for Shadow Merge, which is the thing that I've been using way too much, there's the fact that I'm pretty sure that most people cannot trace me unless they have a specific way of tracing me. They have to have an ability to do that. Am I correct in that? Like they can't just see. They're not going to see like ripples of darkness moving around. Because by how Bruiser was describing it, it's specifically that he had a power to trace me.
I would say that based on what we've seen
and that
so
the
far,
gnomes couldn't find me when I disappeared on them.
I would say based on what we've seen so far, that seems like an accurate statement.
Okay. However, I can also talk through darkness to the outer world because Bruiser and PSA were able to have a conversation with me while I was merged in darkness.
So you're saying you can still talk to people even though you're like in the
Yes.
dark? Yeah, that also has been shown based on like content. Scavenger said if I'm not active, it's because I'm making wikis while he listens to the theory video. Kirby said pineapples. Yo, Kirby and Scavenger, feel free to ask any questions based on Jank Heroes Funnifyic, as well as providing your own theories that we can discuss during this theory video.
And then this is a thing that's going to have serious ramifications on what's going to be going on. When I was watching one of Aiden's streams, I half joked about me seeing PSA and I believe Aiden falling from the building. And that was more or less a joke rather than like me being serious. But are you taking that as like a serious statement of what Dark Gale said?
So is it going to be canon, you
Right.
seeing them falling from the building?
Yes, because that's going to have serious ramifications on what's going to be going on.
Because you live in Springdale Apartments, it doesn't sound too far-fetched that you from the apartment building, or just living in Springdale in general,
Because
could have
that
seen
wasn't
them
something
fall.
that Dark Gale was saying on the subspace communicator because he doesn't ever use his subspace communicator.
So you're saying someone else was seeing...
Well, like, it was more so me personally saying it, and then me, like, because I essentially do, like, a Dark Gale quotes, and then saying, oh, bodies are falling from the sky, I guess I'm going to get blamed for that, too.
So was that Dark Gale
That was-
talking to someone
that was-
else who then is speaking
No, that was
for
more
him,
him talking to himself.
but via subspace?
No, because, remember,
Well,
I
keep
don't...
in mind, live chat is subspace
But
communication.
remember that... Okay, let's put it this way, then.
Mhm.
You can talk, but it's not directly to subspace communicator, but it's just going to get picked up.
That's fair.
Which is why, for example,
People
can-
eavesdrop and shit.
Right.
Yeah. So that's fair.
But that's the thing. Are you going to take it like that? Because, again, serious ramifications happen if you do.
The idea that...
That I said that I saw PSA falling.
Interesting. I'll take that as canon.
Okay.
So, Kirby and Scavenger, do either of you happen to have any theories that you'd like to share post-episode 11? So, spoilers for Jank Heroes episodes 1 through 11.
I guess probably the other thing would be figuring out where the elf girl is right now. Because technically she was on the shoulder of one of the clones.
Mm-hmm.
And theoretically a lot of time passed between that and me seeing PSA falling. So I don't know if the elf girl was on my shoulder at that point, because that was just a little side note thing, not really something of importance.
Kirby said, I'm good, so he doesn't have any theories at the moment. Question for you, Kirby. How do you feel about Andraxia being the rainforest planet and the jewels having a connection to the Atlanteans as well as to Jared's campaign? Because it seems like Andraxia being the rainforest planet and the jewels connecting to Jared's campaign are really drawing a lot of connections between what's going on in the Time Traveler saga and what's going on in the Mimer saga.
But essentially that what I'm sort of getting at is, do I have the elf girl currently on my shoulder? Because if I do, that means that they either took, like the police took the elf girl off of the clone's body and then it teleported back, or they wrapped up the clone, causing it to poof, and then the girl returned to my shoulder. And if so, then that means that the police would have pretty much stormed my room because of seeing me and my clone, or my doppelganger, in the same area with that clone.
Now, in your last session, did someone say they were gonna call the police
Yes.
to the dead elf girl?
Yes. And I said,
And you said, "Oh, my clone." Yeah.
well, I
you,
didn't
like-
even say my clone. I
you
just
didn't?
said, he'll stay in the diner, I promise.
Right, so the police could get him.
Yes.
Interesting. So that definitely is gonna tie in. Kirby said, "Well, it wasn't so much a connection. The Atlanteans, it was just the jewels being on a crown." So you're like, it's not significant enough to say that the Atlanteans have a direct connection. Then why is it that the Shaman Lord recognizes the Prince of Atlantis and not just the jewels on the prince's crown? As a comeback. Also, was anyone else disappointed by Vlad in episode 11? I mean, there are a lot of theories going around about Vlad, but it still seems like we don't know anything else really about him.
Jed, you make the characters, you should know their backstories, you should know how they're going to be developed. No,
that's why we have these theories. I don't
Jed,
know what's
theories
gonna
are
happen.
dumb. Stop.
Who knows what's going to happen?
No, Jed, because you're not going to be able to predict what's going to happen next.
Kirby said, "Is the little girl on your shoulder?" Last time we checked, the little elf girl was on his clone's shoulder. So that could be interesting. So one thing that me and Winslow have been talking about a lot are creative uses of your powers you already have in order to develop techniques that may involve multiple power usages that allow you to use your powers in new and surprising ways.
I mean, the Abyssal clones already have that, Jed.
So do you happen to have any interesting techniques that you've thought of for your character that
No,
involve using
because
your powers in cool and interesting ways?
I can summon an army of clones and they can use my abilities, Jed. So in other words, I can just summon people and spread them out over an area and have them do different things.
I will have you know that your clones would also pull from your own power
Jack.
uses.
Why?
Because you have a limited number of powers that you
Jed.
can use. And they're all you, so they're all pulling
They're
from
not
the same
me, though. They're
source.
clones. And they die in one hit.
Yeah, they do.
So in other words, their stuff would go away as well because it's tied specifically to them.
The power usages pull from
No, Jack.
Because otherwise you could just have unlimited power usages.
Jed, I'm
with
not.
your clones.
I can't even use their stuff.
Just saying. If they use a power, it pulls from your
Jed.
powers.
Why?
Because otherwise you could just have
I don't have unlimited powers with them.
Because you could just have a clone and then he just keeps doing stuff for you and then you don't have to worry about
Not really, Jed.
it. As long as
They
you,
poof in one hit.
then just have them not get hit.
Jed, that's not how that works.
So Kirby said, "Looks like we have just discovered alien life on Earth." Well, keep in mind, we already had the celestial gypsy girl in Aiden's campaign, who was like the Earth ambassador for aliens. But it does seem like a lot of alien-based plot lines are happening with Andraxia and the gypsy girl, and with the squids attacking Springdale University and everything. Kirby said also that would be kinda OP, Mr. Hand, is what Kirby said
Not
in response
really.
to your clones just having unlimited power usages compared to your own. The idea that the only downside to your clones is like, well, I mean, if they get hit once, they're screwed, right? But think about it like this, Mr. Hand. Your clones have all the powers that you have, right? Right?
But like, for example, if they were to use something like Game Portal and pull an item out, I can't just use that item. That item's going to go poof with them.
But what if your clones, right, use your cloning power?
They can't.
But it's one of your powers.
Jed,
And you said they have all of your powers.
okay, let's put it this way. They can't clone.
But that's not stated.
Jed, you're
So
not
they-
going to...
So they would be
Jack.
able to clone. Yeah.
So are you saying that if I had said that they couldn't clone themselves, that it'd be perfectly fine for them to have their own power source?
No, not at all. It still would have been a thing. But
Why?
I'm just saying that, like, it's heavily exploitable.
It's not exploitable because they can't use it, Jed.
But they can use it.
Jed,
Your clones can clone.
they can't.
But they can.
But they
Because
can't.
they have all your powers.
Jed,
It's
you as a
all
game
the
master
same.
should be able to make that distinction.
Well, I mean, you don't state it, right?
Jed, you as the
It's
game
all
master...
semantics.
Jed, it's not all semantics. It's called be a game master and make some ground rules.
But I mean, the ground rules are stated
Jet.
that you can have like
This is why this is a bad
minimum
game.
commas. No,
Be a game master.
I am.
You're
I'm
not.
telling you that it pulls from your power usage.
Jed, that's ridiculous.
Because they're all you. It makes sense.
No, it isn't.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't, Jed.
But yeah, I'm glad that you asked that before. Like you had your clones use your power stuff.
Jed, that's ridiculous.
So now you know. But yeah, it's a part of what makes the power usage limit like a important thing.
Jet, I have a power limit, and it's for me. The clones themselves wouldn't make sense for that. They can't clone themselves because that'd be stupid, and we can
But
both
they
agree on.
can.
So why would you even think that because of how I worded that they should be able to clone themselves?
They can clone
But they
themselves.
can't, Jet.
But they can.
But Jet, why would that even make sense?
Why not?
Because why would it, Jet?
Because if they have all your powers and one of your powers is to clone
Jet,
yourself,
it
then they
wouldn't
can clone
make
themselves.
sense.
I don't see how it doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense because they're clones. You can't just make clones of clones.
Why not?
Because why would you be able to do that, Jet?
Because they have all your powers and you can make clones.
Jet.
I think it makes sense.
It doesn't make any sense.
It's like if you were like, I have a bunch of oranges and my power. Sorry, we're experiencing some lag. But yeah, it's not like they would have less oranges for no reason. They would just have the same oranges.
But what you're saying is that the
Full of usages. I would say a better analogy is it's similar to how when Jared goes back in time and makes a duplicate of himself, that his duplicates also pull from the same power usage pool. He doesn't have like unlimited usages because his clones have the same powers as him. So it's actually just the same consistent rules that Jared's been using for like what you have as well. So I mean, yeah, like it's to keep you from just having unlimited powers, which is essentially what you're asking for.
I'm not asking for unlimited power, so
You're
Jet.
asking for, what if I had a clone of me this? Because all he has to do is not get hit.
Jet,
and
that's
then he
a
would
lot
just
harder
keep
than you
doing
think it
powers.
is. Or a lot easier than you think, or harder. Harder. It is harder.
How many times have you been hit so far in like Jank Heroes?
Jet, that's because I'm a completely avoidant character. Clones wouldn't be avoidant.
Kirby said, if a clone has all of your powers, there's no reason why they can't clone themselves or use the clone power on you. That makes sense, what Kirby just said. That's my argument, is that if they have all your powers and one of your powers is cloning, then they could just be able to clone
But you're
themselves.
saying that even if they didn't have that you would still not allow it.
I would still let them... I mean, they still have all your powers. They just use your power usages.
But why would that make sense, Jet?
Because you have a limited number of power usages, and if you didn't, then you'd have unlimited power usages.
But I'm not having unlimited power usages.
But that is what you'd have.
But that wouldn't necessarily be unlimited power usages. If
But it
anything, what
actually
you
is.
could do is just have the clones have limited uses each.
No, because then that just adds to your max number of power usages,
But
which
it
is a max
doesn't.
for a reason, because it's the maximum you have. Yeah, I mean, I feel like the logic behind this makes sense. Ooh. Oh, Kirby, what are your theories about how the Shadow Darkgale saga will begin to tie in more with the other two ongoing sagas? And do you think sometime today we'll have a crossover episode with some of the other players? Also, Mr. Han, who do you currently want to cross over with? Who's available to play today? Aiden says he'll be available later, and Jarrett might be available later.
Well, I'm probably not going to be available later.
Oh, okay. So you're going to just go for like a solo?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Kirby said, well, sidekicks pulling from one pool doesn't make sense either. Well,
It doesn't because they're separate entities, Jet.
Mhm.
So how does that work?
that's just how the game's designed.
Ye-
That one is just kind of like a throw up. Yeah, that's just how it is. It's just all based on like what you rolled for those.
Jet, that's actually bad. That's why sidekicks are dumb.
I like the sidekick
No,
thing.
Jet, they shouldn't have a shared pool.
It lets you do a work around your max use of powers because you have like friends that can help you out.
Jet, that's ridiculous.
I dig it. I think it's cool. Well, but I really do dig how the game's been going so far. Do you have any techniques? That was the root question, yeah. Like,
Well, now I don't because the abyssal clones can't do anything that would actually be useful.
They can do the same thing you do.
Jet, that's the problem. It's not useful.
That's useful.
It's not.
They can even take hits for you. Like
Jet,
you used.
one hit and they're dead.
Mm-hmm.
That's not useful.
What if that one hit, like in the last episode, it was like 18 damage?
I can
That
deal
spider
with it, Jet.
mandible got the shit out of you, Kirby. I was very surprised. Gosh, what did you roll then? They got you 18 damage taken. Was it
22.
19 and 1? Or 20 and 2? Yeah. There are many ways to get 18.
Only two ways to get a 20 or 2 or an 18.
Kirby said 19 and 1. Hmm. Got you. Let's see. So I'm actually really curious. Matt, what do you want to happen in like your next session?
It's not necessarily what I want to happen, but it's what my character's more or less going to have to do, Jed.
What do you feel is your character? This is actually a general question. What do you feel is your character's mission? Like, what is their overall goal? Shadow Darkgale.
To be a solo hero.
So you want to... Does that mean that your overall goal is to be like the only hero, or
No.
to just be a loner and work alone?
Yes.
Okay. What if, for whatever reason, that seemed impossible?
He would try everything he possibly could.
So do you feel like your character has some boundaries, like things that you would never do in order to achieve your goal?
Yes.
What would those boundaries be? Like, what is Shadow Darkgale's moral code? While you're thinking of the
That
answer,
he probably wouldn't kill someone out of the blue, that he would need some sort of justification for killing someone.
so you feel like if you were to ever kill someone, it would have to be justified.
Well, I have killed people.
Okay.
Like
Yeah.
Elfgirl.
You did. Was that justified
Yes.
by his moral code?
Yes.
What was the justification for her murder?
The fact that A, she had death monsters in her drawer that that could have killed me. B, the fact that she stalked me for like 30, 40 miles. C, the fact that she got on my shoulder and wouldn't get off.
That was the justification?
Yeah. Death monsters stalking and staying on my shoulder.
Was it like a 3-strike rule?
Yeah, that was pretty hard strikes. But the first one was the main one. Because, death monsters.
That wasn't intentional.
Jet, you can't tell me that someone would just randomly have monsters in their drawer and not know anything about it.
She thought the ribbons looked pretty.
Well, she's dumb.
Kirby said, even if the clones have their own pools, you could just have the clones themselves make clones of themselves and have infinite
But
usages
they
that way.
can't clone themselves.
Then Kirby said you would just have an infinite number of clones that have used one of many usages.
But the clones can't clone themselves because that's silly.
But they can.
But
'cause
that's dumb.
you wrote it that way.
No, I didn't,
wrote
Jet.
your-
I didn't explicitly write the clones can clone themselves.
But did you write they have all of my
Jet, I
powers?
shouldn't have to write that.
But you
Why
did.
would I have to write that clones can't clone themselves? That seems like a basic ground rule. Why would I ever do that?
You literally said they have all your powers. So
Jack.
one of your powers is I make clones. It just like...
I didn't even say all my abilities, just my abilities.
So they have your abilities.
But Jet, you can make the argument that because it's not all, that it doesn't have all my abilities.
I have groceries. I have all my groceries.
Yeah.
You don't specify that they have...
Yeah, I can leave my cereal in my car.
You didn't specify that they have some of your abilities. Like you don't... There's nothing that implies a lesser.
But there's nothing implying a greater.
So whenever you make clones, are you like, this one has A, B, but not D. It has E. Like,
I mean-
like are you gonna be like?
I mean, I could with the clone rule being a flat out can't put on.
What is it can't put on?
Clones flat out cannot be put on.
Put on?
So they cannot clone themselves. That's a forbidden thing to put on them.
But you don't have that.
Jet,
You don't.
I just can't.
You didn't.
Jet,
they can though.
Jet, it doesn't make any sense. Stop.
Within canon, within your
Within
rules,
canon,
they can do it.
Within canon, I did not say all my abilities.
But you said my abilities.
Yes.
Let's see. Kirby said, "Can you please read out the clone power, Mr. Han?"
Can summon clones out of viewable darkness that can utilize my abilities?
Okay. Kirby said, "So I have a full understanding of the power itself." Could you read it one more time?
Can summon clones out of viewable darkness that can utilize my abilities?
So, can summon clones out of viewable darkness that can use my abilities.
More or less, yes.
That's literally what you're...
Oh, I said utilized, Jet.
Sorry. I guess I changed a word. But they can
Oh,
utilize...
I don't know. Semantics are everything,
It
Jet.
is. You're right. They can utilize your abilities, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so Kirby said, can summon clones out of viewable darkness that can utilize my abilities. So I think he's double checking. Like, is
Yes.
that... Okay. So, yeah. That would include, like, the cloning ability.
But Jet, why? Why would you even think that?
Why not?
Because why would you ever be able to do that?
Why? There's nothing in your thing that would make it seem.
But
forbidden.
Jet, as a ground rule,
That's not even a ground. There's no ground.
why wouldn't there be a ground rule for that, Jet?
You have a limited number of power usages,
Yeah,
which allows for the powers to be.
Jet, I can just summon a million clones by myself.
You would run out of power usage.
No, I wouldn't, because it
They
says.
all pull from the pool. That's what I just said.
But here's what I'm gonna say.
Okay.
Can summon clones. Doesn't say how many clones I can summon.
Oh, I see. Dude, you can go hard as fuck. That's a solid technique.
But what I'm saying, Jet, is that why would I ever have clones clone themselves, even if I had that capability?
They just can.
But
It's
Jet,
just
that's
something they
silly.
can do. I don't know. Maybe you'll find a creative use for it.
No, there is no use for that.
But you are right. You didn't specify how many you can make. So you can make a shit ton of clones if you want.
Jet.
Yeah, that actually sounds really cool. Kirby said utilize, meaning they can use the abilities, or does that mean they can benefit from the abilities?
Use.
I feel like utilize is being more in the case of use, as Matt said as well. So it's that like they can have them. But I like the idea of you making like a whole bunch of clones. You've yet to try that. That sounds like it would just be a useful thing in the first place. Kirby said, how many usages do you have, Mr. Ann?
16.
So he can use his power 16 times, but with a single usage of his clone power, he can make as many clones as he desires, based on the semantics. But have you even like considered technique building? Like finding ways to use your powers in different crazy ways together, even if it sometimes means using multiple usages? Aiden has been using his black hole power to make wormholes by like connecting multiple black holes together, like at their ends, so that it like acts as a gateway.
So if we're doing this based on the semantics of things, and that means things that they have don't necessarily poof when they're dead.
That's just based on continuity. Like they got hit and it like died. So we know that that's how it works based off just what's occurred.
But like what I'm saying is that, like if they were given something and they died, then the stuff that they were given wouldn't die with them.
Like you feel like the thing would just fall down?
Yes.
Kevin said, "Yo, nice beard." That sounds right.
Okay.
Yeah, why not?
And on top of that, because the clones don't have a time limit on them, they're just there.
Yep.
Forever.
Kirby said, "Can I please be in a voice call so I can join the conversation too?"
Oh God, I'm gonna have to do it this way then.
That takes significantly more time, Kirby. At the moment, it's just easier for me to be able to just like read what you say, and that way, I am always paying attention to the chat and making sure that everyone's voice is heard.
I sort of was gonna do that anyway, but I didn't want to have to do it this way.
Works as a solid balance.
Okay.
Oh, but yo, Kevin, welcome to the stream. Good to have you. Don't forget to smash that like button. I notice we have 3 viewers and 1 like. So, who is your favorite character that you've encountered during your sessions, Matt? And who is your least favorite character you've encountered during the sessions?
Giant monster. Favorite character.
Favorite character is the giant monster?
Least favorite character. PSA.
Okay.
Actually, my bad, Bruiser.
Bruiser. Okay. Explanation for why favorite character is giant monster.
Because giant monster did nothing wrong.
Giant monster did nothing wrong.
He was just doing his job.
Yeah, he just wanted to stop the aliens from invading, and then you murdered him in the streets.
Favorite character.
What was the justification for his murder?
He did nothing wrong.
Damn.
That sounds like a good justification.
And then, why was Bruiser your least favorite character?
Because he made me sit through 2 sessions just to resolve one conflict that could have been very easily solved in 15 minutes.
I don't know. It introduced a lot
Jet,
of new
you wouldn't
things.
believe anything I said. Come on. You made me sit there for 2 hours dealing with that, Jet.
Who was your second favorite character and second least favorite character?
UFOs.
As favorite?
Yeah, second favorite.
Okay, why? Also, they came back up last night and like the last couple.
Yeah, they were just taking advantage of an opportunity. They didn't do anything wrong.
And then second least favorite character?
PSA.
So why PSA?
Because he drafted me into the speedsters.
When you didn't want to get drafted?
Actually, that's Speedy Case, my bad.
Vietnam problems. And it was Speedy Case, you are right. Kirby said, "I'm just wanting to be able to say my responses to the clone thing." I understand that if you have like a lot to type, it can be difficult to like get it out. But like I said, it's just easier for us to do this. I don't like that Hangouts on occasion can have like hang-ups, and then it takes longer to set up a Hangout stream than it does to just set up a phone stream. But yeah, does anyone have any additional questions or theories or discussion points when it comes to Jankiro's Funnifyic? This is definitely a good time to speak out what you say, especially if you feel like you can predict what will happen next time.
You're not.
Hey, it's possible.
No, you're not.
Actually, in a previous theory video, someone was like, what if Andraxia is the rainforest planet? And it ended up being a thing.
Shit, I'm going to tell you right now that nobody's going to be able to see where this is going.
Ooh. How do people feel about that statement? Shadow Darkgale feels like we're going to get a solid surprise this episode. Ooh. But anyways, yeah. So are you excited for your next session?
Not really. It's going to be a fire, like I said.
It's going to be a fire? Listen, are you just going to burn down Springdale?
No.
What are you, like, alluding to? Shadow Darkgale going to drop a mixtape?
No, there's just going to be rage.
It's just going to be, rage. Sound really dope. Kirby said, will the speedsters ever come to Shadow Darkgale? Hey, we need your help with something. Who knows? And what would they call his help for, considering he's one of the slowest of the speedsters? I find it interesting. So definitely stay tuned, because we're about to get ready for episode 12 of Jankiro's Funnifyic. Make sure to tell your friends so that they'll be able to tune in and join in. And if you haven't made a character, definitely make sure to make a character so you can join the festivities. Also, if you have a character in Jankiro's Funnifyic, but you would like to have additional characters, feel free to do so. All you have to do is make a character and then pick what character you're going to play as, tell us in the chat, and then you play as that character for that session. So, thank you all once again for watching. If you like this video, make sure to like this video. Favorite, comment, subscribe, and ding ding ding, ring that bell so you know when we do these live streams. And stay tuned, because coming up is episode 12 of Jankiro's Funnifyic with your host, your friend, your boy, Jump Like the One and Only, and
Mr. Hand.
logging out. Peace.